Hey, what's up gamers? You have Tiger Chainsaw here, and recently I have played and beaten Solar Striker on the Game Boy. Now this is one of the earliest shoot 'em ups on the Game Boy. It was released in 1990, just a year into the Game Boy's life cycle, and I've got a lot of thoughts on it, and so I thought I would share those wonderful thoughts with my viewers. Now if this is your first time on my channel, or if you just haven't yet, make sure you hit that sub button, as I have plenty of retro video game content and plenty of retro video game reviews already done. Now, let's fire up that Game Boy and insert that cartridge and figure out if Solar Striker is worth playing today. With the Game Boy being less than a year old, Minikuchi Engineering developed and Nintendo published Solar Striker for the handheld in 1990. The vertical shooter would find critical success among the gaming community and become one of the early favorites in the growing library for the Game Boy. We're picking up those power-ups and blasting away the enemy forces in this Solar Striker review, starting with the plot. But be warned, spoilers are ahead. Let's take a look at the manual for Solar Striker to get an idea of what's going on in this game. It is now the year 2159. Earth has been attacked by the forces from the planet, and I'm gonna slaughter this, but I'll say it anyway. Reticulion. Several hundred years ago, Reticulion sent messages conveying their intent to attack. Seems like a pretty stupid move in my opinion. Anyway, the Earth Federation government was formed, unifying the whole world. The Earth would be protected by the Federation army. Unfortunately, the power of the aggressive Reticulians proved too much for the Federation army. Earth was subjected to a crushing defeat. Now, there is one last chance. The Federation army has a secret megabase on the moon. Here, the Earth's finest scientists and technicians have developed an ultra-performance fighter ship. The name of this ship is the Solar Striker. The only way to foil the menacing Reticulian mission is to fly to their home planet and destroy its core. This is where their main computer is housed. Without it, they'll be helpless. Good luck. And here I thought I was defending Earth, but it turns out I'm going to an alien planet to kick some ass. I got no problem with that. One of the first things that I noticed about Solar Striker is how great the music is. There's a bass song, and it doesn't really change too much throughout the game. You're gonna hear it a lot, but there's some small variations to it where the developers tweaked it or slowed it down or sped it up, and it sounds really good on the Game Boy. Also, the sound effects are fantastic. I loved getting a power-up or even pausing my game. These sound effects were really pleasing to my ears. There are 6 levels in Solar Striker, and they are all unique with the enemies and backgrounds. When I first played this game, I thought the majority of it would take place in space, but I was pleasantly surprised that I was wrong. Now, the first level does take place in space, but the majority of the other ones are on land or in skies, and there's even a highway level. Throughout the entire game, the difficulty of the gameplay I thought was really fair. I was never overwhelmed by enemies on the screen or by bullets fired at me. Every mission felt possible, and even when I died, I knew I could beat that level or that boss with just a little bit more practice or another go around. I was trying to count all the enemies when I was playing this game, and I think there's over 20 unique enemies in Solar Striker, and that's a really good variety for a game back in 1990 on the Game Boy. Speaking of weapons, during Solar Striker you'll have the ability to shoot power-ups and then collect them. This is crucial in beating the game. The power capsules will float down from the screen, and you shoot them and then you collect the upgrade. These upgrades will increase your single shot to a double shot, and then a triple shot, and then finally the turbo missiles. But you want to know what the best thing about Solar Striker is? When you died, you didn't start from scratch again. I hate when you play a shoot 'em up and you get blown up and then you lose all of your powers because you're never going to beat the level, especially if you're in the middle of it. In Solar Striker, if I died, I came back to life only downgraded one level. So for instance, if you're maxed out with the turbo missiles, you'll respawn with the triple shot. It makes death much easier to deal with. Now each level ends with a boss fight. I thought this was awesome. As you guys know, I love a good boss fight. The length of the levels are kind of short and they take about a minute or two to cruise through before making it to the end boss. When I died, I knew that it wouldn't take me long to get back to where I was. My favorite level out of the 6 was the highway. There was tanks, there was trucks that were rolling down on the roads in front of my ship and just attacking me from the ground. It was really cool to see that. And although this does technically take place on another planet, it felt strangely like Earth. The first level in Solar Striker is near perfect for introducing the player to the game, as the difficulty is next to nothing, but it instead gives you an idea of how to play the game with multiple power-ups as you get used to the controls and shooting. This is how a first level should be, and it's done very well to keep the player hooked into playing the game. The first boss is also not much of a challenge, but he does give you a sense of accomplishment when defeating him. Level 2 definitely ups the challenge with more enemies on the screen, as well as the speed at which they fly. More enemies will now be shooting at you too, but even with all of this implemented, it's still relatively easy for a seasoned gamer. The level 2 boss just shoots huge energy balls at you, so just avoid them and attack and he'll go down within 10 seconds. Now level 3 is probably my favorite level. I love the highway and the enemies zooming down on it and shooting you. There's also huge trucks that shoot lasers and stationed enemies. The whole thing just looks great, and there's even little trees for details. The level 3 boss comes flying down the highway, firing bullets and lasers, but like the first 2 bosses, he really isn't difficult. But once you make it past level 3, this is where the difficulty really increases. Level 4 is where it gets ramped up. Enemies begin to shoot spray shots where 3 bullets are spread across the screen. You need to be a little bit more careful at this point in the game. There's also a mid-level boss where you need to shoot sections off him. I love this inclusion as it kept me on my toes about difficult enemies. The 4th level boss is tough, just classic tough. He's got a lot of extensions and all of them will fire bullets at you. It's more chaos than anything, but with some luck and quick navigation, you can beat him. The 5th level is no joke, and it starts with asteroids raining down upon you. At least I think they're asteroids. They're pretty quick, so you need to be fast with your decision making. The enemies continue to get tougher with the ones that come apart and keep firing at you. These ones definitely gave me a little bit of a headache. And the 5th level boss continues the trend of getting bigger and throwing more at you. You'll have lasers and bullets coming at you, and you'll only be able to damage him in the middle. It's a very tough fight, and one wrong move will blow you up. Thankfully, it takes just a few well-placed shots to take him down. Even though level 6 is the last level, I found it easier than level 5. You did get some unique enemies in this level, but for me, I just struggled more on level 5. The music though on level 6 is really good, and it just makes you feel like you're going deep into some enemy base. Once you reach the final boss, honestly, it's a bit of a disappointment, as the bosses have been getting bigger and harder with more chaos. The final boss is kind of disappointing. It looks like an anthill or like a rabbit's anus shooting little poopy pellets at you. It kind of sucks, but it's pretty easy compared to level 4 and level 5's boss, so that was a bit of a disappointment. But when you do beat it, you get a small little cutscene of your ship taking off, saying the final mission is complete, and then it heads back to the mothership, and then the credits roll. Solar Striker is pretty great, but I did have some disappointments with it. Now I know this was released in 1990 on the Game Boy, but it is just a little bit on the shorter side. The graphics are nothing special, but the gameplay makes up for it more than enough. Everything is smooth and the controls are really responsive. Plus, the bosses look great. Solar Striker is such a great game to introduce to new players of the shoot 'em up genre. It's short, but it's fair. One of the best things about this game is the difficulty. It properly, slowly ramps up each level until you're an expert at blowing up enemy ships. The bosses also increase in difficulty, except for the final boss. That one was definitely a little bit disappointing. But overall, there's never too much chaos on the screen, and each level feels really unique. The music and sound effects are awesome in Solar Striker. This is definitely one of the better shoot-'em-ups on the Game Boy. I just wish it was a little bit longer and the final boss wasn't an anus. Oh well. So my final score for Solar Striker is an 8.4 out of 10. This is a great game, especially if you love shoot-'em-ups. If you own the Game Boy, you gotta get this game in your collection. It's pretty much a must-own. So those are my thoughts on Solar Striker on the Game Boy. It is one excellent shoot-'em-up. But I want to hear from you guys. Have you guys played Solar Striker? What are your thoughts on it? And what are some other awesome shoot-'em-ups on the Game Boy? Let me know because I love playing those types of games. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure you drop me a comment with all of those thoughts. And of course, like this video and subscribe to my channel as it really helps me grow. So, thank you for watching, happy gaming, and make sure you play a video game today.